Good morning, Flosstube, and welcome to Grandma's World. I'm Debbie, and I was so excited to find you yesterday on YouTube. I am a cross-stitcher for decades now, and I don't complete a lot of projects. I just love doing it. And I heard Kenny from Flosstube this morning. I think it was maybe his first Flosstube video, talking about being a serial stitcher, a serial starter. Hi, that's me. And I really would love 2020 to be the year that I finish some things. My most productive times as a cross-stitcher were when I was part of a Yahoo group called Cross Stitch in Progress, and we would share our progress on our various cross-stitch projects. Over the years, I mean, Yahoo's been gone, groups have been gone for quite a while. I've stayed in touch with a few of the people that I shared with, most of whom, only one of whom is still doing cross-stitch. The rest got into quilting, one got into knitting, and from there now has her own yarn dyeing business. But we're still connected, and we stay connected through Facebook. So I went looking yesterday just to, there have to be cross-stitchers on YouTube, right? And surely I can be looking and seeing what they're working on, and that would give me inspiration and move me toward what I really want my channel to be, which is a place where I document my interests and document my progress, especially in this year. In 2020, I have many, many things that I want to accomplish this year. And if I don't find somewhere to be held accountable for my progress on any of them, I know what's going to happen to me in the course of my day. I'm going to keep climbing down into the Facebook hole and spending my time watching, not even noticing the minutes fly by while I'm there. So I am thrilled to have found Flosstube. You people are amazing. I feel like I'm coming in like a kindergartner compared to what you're accomplishing and what you're doing. But it just didn't, for watching, one evening's worth of videos from you folks, I've already learned a lot of stuff that's going to help me get through this year and actually get things accomplished. So, Flosstube number 1, and what I'm going to do, I'm actually doing 2 videos at a time here. I'm doing another video for my channel, Grandma's World, to talk about my goals, multiple goals in multiple areas, and some of those are cross-stitch projects, and when it's time, I will upload them with this as the video. I'll edit them out of that whole other video and post that as my vlog Flosstube Flosstube number 1. So I'll see you in a while. Thanks again for all that you post, because you really truly are inspiring. So I'm back. It looks like I took off for a wardrobe change, and I did not. I'll explain that in a minute, but I'm getting such a kick out of the dust motes. The dust is just flying, just normal dusty stuff. At least at my house it is. But I'm sitting in a sunbeam, and so it's kind of like magical, magical pixie dust floats across the camera. Can you see it over there? So anyway, it's making me giggle. No, I didn't go make a wardrobe change. What happened was I was recording a very long video that I was going to chop up into pieces. And it was my goals for 2020, the things that I need to set out for myself to accomplish this year. I really want a lot of stuff to come together this year. And it includes not only handwork projects, but also things around my house, things in my garden, some furniture refinishing, all those things. We're going to go into this one long, and they will. go into this one long introducing my goals for 2020 video. And my camera, and this is, I've learned since I started fighting this, shuts off automatically from time to time. And if I get really involved in what I'm talking about, I don't notice that the little record indicator up there, I don't notice that it is shut off. So that happened while I was introducing one of my 3 really important things that I want to complete this year, which was a piece of cross stitch. So since I want to use it in that, and also in my introductory Flosstube video that I'm putting together right now, I wanted to dash back here, and this is a different day, come back and actually finish that, redo that presentation so that I can edit it into both my goals for 2020 video and my Flosstube introduction video. In the meantime, I've been watching a lot of Flosstube videos. Oh my gosh, I'm even more excited than I was when I discovered you before. So let me go ahead. Like I said, I have 3 big projects. Oh, I have a lot of big projects going, but the 2 that are, I would consider my masterpiece projects that I want to complete this year. One of them is a quilt. And if you would like to check that out, you can go to my goals for 2020 video and look at it there. And then the other is a piece of cross stitch. And so that's what I came back to talk about today. So I'm going to say 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I fell in love with this piece by Marilyn Levitt Emblem called Firefly Fairies. And it's partially snapped up. And this is as far as I've gotten on it. Oh, I left the picture in another room. I'm going to run in. Okay, I had to run in and get this was the picture that was on, wow, on the pattern in her website. The website is called Told in a Garden, and Marilyn Levitt Emblem passed a few years ago, I think. But the garden is still, as far as I can tell, I haven't tried to order anything from them, but if you go to TIAG.com, they're still listing patterns and so on. So I assume that it's still in business. At any rate, I love all things fairies, and I loved this. I loved her design. I tried twice to do the die to get the candlelight unsuccessfully, and so I went looking to see if I could just buy a piece of fabric already done, and I believe I went to 1, 2, 3 Stitch to get it, and I really love it. I really feel like it looks like they're lighting their way through the dark. This is a linen, and I'm just not into it. I wasn't into it when I bought it. I want to say 28. It's my first linen experience. I don't love it, although I do love how beautiful the piece is coming out on it. This part down here was really challenging because there's so little contrast between the blues. But it's going well, and I'm loving it, and I really want to finish it. I'm almost finished with the floss here with the green, and when the floss is done, I will mount it onto, I'll press it out and then mount it onto a really big set of Q-snaps that I have to do the metallics. So anywhere there's, appears to be empty space, there are either metallics, all down here. Her hem is half metallics in here, and so on. There, it's everywhere. Like here on this one is going to be metallics, either metallics or beads. So the push to get this done this year, first of all, it's been languishing for years, but part of the push, well, let me back up. Part of the reason I haven't worked on it that quickly is that I used to own a condo in Utah, in northern Utah, in the Ogden Valley, from 2002 until 2 years ago. And that's where I would work on this. And I saved it to work there because there was no dog in that condo ever. And I didn't want dog hair and dog smell getting into this piece. And so I would only work on it on the times when we went up on a trip to visit that condo, and I could sit for days at a time and kind of peck away at this. I've sold the condo, but I don't have a dog, so I can go ahead and work on it here. And I want to get it done. I'm watching friends who are older than I am. I'm 68 and they're in their 70s and 80s. As it becomes more difficult to do this kind of thing, their eyesight, my eyesight's great thanks to multiple surgeries, but I do have to wear reading glasses to work on it and use a magnifier to work on it. I also have arthritis developing in my fingers, particularly that one. And I can get it as long as I keep carbohydrates and sugar out of my diet. I can bend it. But it's just a matter of time before these things get to be more and more challenging to do. So while I can still do it and still have fun with it, I want to finish this one. And when I do, I already know this will be the kind of the pinnacle of what I do, because I don't see myself doing much of, how can I say this? I love it. I love working on it for multiple reasons, but I can't really say that I have enjoyed the tedious pace of it, because there is so much. What's making it beautiful is time consuming and tedious to do and difficult on linen. So I don't see myself really tackling one like this again. So I want to finish it, and when I do, it will be my masterpiece cross-stitch piece, and then I'll be doing things that are simpler and faster, and probably. So this piece is one, Firefly Fairies is one that I want to finish in 2020. I will mention while I'm on it, I'm a huge Disney freak, huge Disneyland freak. Still my favorite of the classical animation movies is Sleeping Beauty. And I worked on this thing for probably 10 years before I realized that this had to have been inspired by the fairies in Sleeping Beauty. And I didn't realize it until I rewatched the movie. Notice how they have their little petticoats with their tiny little feet showing. There's a scene in the movie Sleeping Beauty where the fairies, I think it's where they're flying quickly out of the castle to go rescue Philip. And as they fly away, they have exactly this configuration. They're flying away from you, and you can see all these petticoats with these tiny little feet sticking in them. And that's when it hit me. That's like Firefly Fairies. And I went back and looked, and sure enough, there's Flora, and there's Fauna, and there's Merryweather, which made me love this even more and want it even more. And that's when I kind of got it out and started working on it. Very happy to report that with my magnifier and my reading glasses and decent light, it's still fairly easy to do. So I'm hopeful. I'm determined that this is going to get done this year. In addition to my have-tos, I also have some want-to things that I'd like to get done this year. Starting with this stack here. I was really lucky. For about 12 years, my husband and I owned a condominium in northern Utah. And one of the things that had me believing that I was supposed to live there was that it was just outside of Ogden. And it was actually in the Ogden Valley. And there is the most magical cross-stitch shop there. And I said, oh, I have to live here so that I'm near this shop. It's called Shepherd's Bush. And it is a cross-stitcher's dream come true. I mean, you just cannot believe when you walk into Shepherd's Bush what they're doing in this shop. It's incredible. And I love their designs. And so I picked up several of their Scatter series. And I finished this one. It says Scatter Hearts and Kisses. And what I want to do is make a pillow out of this. Now, I've had this done for quite a while. And I have never been able to make myself. I know what fabrics I want to use. I want to use, first, this is the way they finish it on their pattern. And this isn't what I want. I want something really frou-frou, really frilly. I want a ruffle around it. I want some ribbons on it. I want to really girly girl it up. And so these are some of the fabrics that I bought. I think this is the one I'm going to use for sure with it. Am I even showing this? Let's go back to here maybe. And I also have this bright pink that is going to be like between them. So these are the kind of the basis for what I want to do with this pillow. And then I have a few others that I can work in depending on what I decide, that are just kind of pretty and frilly and go. I beg your pardon. I'm having a little allergy attack here. I couldn't make myself put this together because it doesn't match my bed. I want to put it on my bed. This doesn't match my bedspread. And so I'm kind of not inspired to do it because I don't really have the place for it yet. And in a minute or in a few minutes, we'll get over to why I'm suddenly excited to do this piece. But this is kind of at the top of the stack of, yeah, I really want to finish this. I really want to do this. This box is full of the projects. If I could get a day where I don't have to go anywhere and I don't have to do anything, I could probably finish them all up if I just totally focus and really work on them. And that day is going to come up here pretty soon, I think, because I'm going to do a 24-hour fast. And when I do a 24-hour fast, I just stay home. I call it a retreat, and I just love not having to cook or eat. So my next 24-hour fast will be coming up next month, and I will do. And I'm going to try to get these all done. The first thing, I am nuts about the British cross-stitch magazines, especially Cross Stitch Crazy, because they carried so many Margaret Sherry designs. And of course, Margaret Sherry passed last year. It just broke my heart because I love her stuff, and I have an awful lot of it. I would never. I was going to say this in the introduction earlier on, but I forgot, but I'll say it now. About 10 years ago, I went through all of my projects and just counted the major projects, not the ones I could sit down and maybe crank out in a couple of weekends, but the ones that were going to take a lot of effort and time and money to do. And I figured out that if I did one a year of just the major projects, I would have to live to be 130 to get them all done. Now that was 10 years ago, and I haven't finished any of them. But I have bought more. So I'm not worried about running out of things to do, and things that I love to do, that I'm gonna love to do. including this little guy. This is one of Margaret Sherry's. It's called Christmas Kitten, and he's done. I didn't realize that until I got him out for this. I thought I still had more back stitching to do, but I don't. He's done. And what has to happen to him is that he gets mounted into this frame. Let's see if I can get him lined up. It's a little bit tricky, but not overly so. And then he just looks like he's hanging there in that Christmas wreath. I've never finished him because I didn't know what I was going to do with him. It's not really, it doesn't fit my house. I'm not really a cat freak anymore. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. And I just didn't know what I was going to do with him. And now I know exactly what I'm going to do with him. So that's one of the things that's in this Finish This Quickly box, is to get him done in time for the thing that I know I'm going to do. And here are the pieces. Oh, here's the picture of it as it was in the magazine. He was a fun little project to do, and I was able to run the frame through my scanner. I ran the frame through my scanner and made more, in case I ever want to make more of him. But he definitely needs to get finished. And then this is not a cross-stitch project. This is something that I picked up. I have very good friends in Massachusetts who let me come and live in the paradise that is the East Coast in the fall with them. And the first year I went, she took me to a quilt shop. They live north of Boston, almost to the New Hampshire border. And in Salem, New Hampshire, there's a fabulous quilt shop, and I'm not going to be able to remember the name right now. But she had these pennant triangles, and I got my friends done and sent to her. I'd finished them at home, but I sat and hand sewed them while we hung out. And then, of course, I'm showing you that they're already right sides together to sew together. Here are the colors of it. But this gives you an idea. And then I never finished my own set. So this is something that will happen on that day, and then I'll have it ready for Halloween this year. Look at this thing, that cracks me up. These people on the hands. So anyway, that's one of the things that's in the box that could get finished in one day if I set a day aside for it. This is, her name is Ayuko, I think. Yeah, Ayako. And she had a little blog called Windy Willows, and she had designed this, I think this might be a tissue box, and this is a needle keep here, up here. I love her patterns, and I did a few of them, printed them off, a few of them, off her blog. This is the one I did, and I had a whole bolt, as it were, roll of this gorgeous mint green fiddler. And so I worked it in green on the fiddler, just a variegated floss. And I want to do a needle keep that I can use. I think what I'm going to do is run a piece of ribbon down the side. I'm going to make it wide enough, let's do it this way, to run a piece of ribbon down the side here, like a little pillow, maybe with a piece of cardboard in it to make it stiff, that I can slide the low-ran, is it here? No. I wonder what I did with that. I slide a low-ran project floss holder in, and then the needles can just go through the cross stitch. That is my one-day box, and that is part of my 2020 goals, is to get this one-day box emptied. And also, as far as cross stitch, I have one other it's been a long time since I've communicated in the cross stitch community, so I don't know if this term is still appropriate, but they were what we called BAPs, a big ass project. And it usually applied to things like the Heaven and Earth projects or some of the other, something huge, really huge to work on. I have what I call MAPs. They're medium mass projects because they're not that big, but for me, they take a lot of time. And certainly while I was teaching, I didn't have time. That's kind of why I got out of cross stitch. It was something reserved for, not even for weekends because you're grading papers and stuff, but for holidays and that kind of stuff. And this is when I started. I saw this magazine and picked it up. In 1992 is when I picked this up and started this. I just fell in love. I love Santas anyway. I collect Santas. Here is the full thing. I have a second copy of this magazine that I bought somewhere on a, someone getting rid of it. And I said, ooh, just in case, I think I'm going to have that in my collection. I think he is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I got started on him. Because it is, the whole thing, except for the border, is solid cross stitch. I just started him on an ivory Aida cloth that I had here at home. I had a big piece of it. I think it was about a, what does this look like? Maybe an 11, and I got almost that, I'd say, which where my hand is. I got almost all of I got Santa done, the top of the list done, and almost all of the stuff, where's my hand? Almost all of the stuff in the sack done. And realized that when it was all finished, I wasn't gonna like it because of this border being just the plain Aida cloth. I wasn't gonna like it. And so I ditched the whole thing that I had already done, and it took, like all my spare time. There are lots of half crosses, and there's just a lot of confetti in this. And so it had taken a lot of time to do it, but I said, there's no point. There's no point in finishing this because I'm not gonna like it. My eye is gonna go right to that Aida, and I'm not gonna like it. So I started over again on a fiddler that I love. And I love the way it's gonna, I can really see how it's gonna turn out. And this is where I am so far on that second attempt. I don't really have any aspirations to finish this year, but I would like to make a commitment to myself to do something on it. Maybe it's something every week, maybe it's something every month, I don't know. But I would like to see myself make some progress on this. And then I have a couple of new pieces that I really do love that would be quick, kind of quick and satisfying and easy to do. And one of them is this, it's Diane Grick for Silver Creek Samplers. And I think that I don't usually like doing alphabets, but this is a fun alphabet. And I love the saying, and I would love to get this up in my house somewhere. It says, take a breath, gently blow, spread your dreams and let them grow. And the fact that it has the dandelion on it, I know a code officer thinks the dandelions are weeds. Guess what? They're edible plants, and my tortoise collection loves them, so they stay. And I don't know, I may have to go to the city and give them copies of The Biggest Little Farm and say, get off my deck. At any rate, I have that kitted up. I'm ready to go with that one. And then I'm in the process of redecorating. Well, some of it's renovation and some of it's redecorating my house away from a farm theme. And you see, this is the farm theme back here. I never did hate it. I really like it, but I am now shifted most of the things I loved about the farm, I used to visit the farm. My uncle had a farm. My aunt and uncle had a farm in Kansas. And I was very close to one of my cousins, and we would go visit about every 3rd year, and I loved the farm. I loved visiting the farm. And it's all gone now. My uncle retired, he sold the farm, bought a little house in a darling little town in northeastern Kansas. He passed. My cousin that I was close to passed. We were 3 weeks away in age. She was, for me, way too young to have gone. And then my aunt passed. And I still have a cousin that I love very much who lives there, but he lives in the little town. Kind of the whole farm thing doesn't exist for me in reality anymore. So I'm shifting to the other thing that I love more than anything, which is the coast, the sea. I love being on the ocean. I love going whale watching. I love driving up. I have one of the big rookeries for, I guess that's what they call it, elephant seals, which I love, is just a 4-hour drive for me, and I love driving up there. And at any rate, the last time I was at Shepherd's Bush, I found this pattern. And I just redid my bathroom, and I'm in the process of redoing my family room, and next will be my guest room, because I'm going to need it this summer. These are needle keeps. I think they're little. Yeah, they're keeps. And that was part of what appealed to me, is they're charming. They're so tiny. They were only about this big. But while I was there looking for the fabric for this, I found this piece of fabric. And it just screamed ocean at me. And then after I looked at the label of it, it actually had an ocean name of some kind. It's 11. And I said, you know what? If I stack these, see if I can get this to work. I think I can give it enough. Oh, and it's actually called Cape Cod Keep. And I was in Cape Cod for the first time this past fall, so visiting those friends in Massachusetts, we went and spent a night there. So, I don't know how this is going to work, but if I stack them, because the chart's 11 and the paper's 11, I could have this nice little sampler on this gorgeous fabric. So that's what I'm going to do with this. And because it's an Ida and has big squares for my old eyes, I think that it is, I think it's going to be easy to do, she says, hopefully. Here are the glosses that I picked out. I changed a few. By the way, Shepherd's Bush, when they do a model, they don't necessarily use the colors that were recommended. And if they change colors, they give you the list of colors they actually used in their model. Okay, so what I did was go by their colors. And I think I used both of them simultaneously because I'm not using a cream colored background. I'm using a deep blue. This actually, the camera isn't even picking it up. This is deeper blue. I fell in love with this one, and if I can figure out a way to work this in, this is Sampler Threads Gentle Art. This is Deep Sea. And I'm going to show these colors. I don't even know if they make them anymore because I've had them for a few years, but that's Deep Sea. And then I'm using some of these others. This is Driftwood, Antique Lace, Sweetest Heart, I have that name, Black Coffee, Old Purple Paint, Pebble. Were these all? Some of these are Simply Shaker, but they're all, I think they're all Gentle Art. Now there's Classic Colorworks was this one. Yeah, all of these. Black Coffee, Sweetest Heart, Deep Sea. These are all, oh, that's Gentle. These are classic Colorworks. Lexington Green, how cool. I was on Lexington Green this fall when I went to Massachusetts. So that's another shaker. Classic Colorworks Blue Corn. Classic Colorworks Ye Olde Gold. Classic Colorworks Prairie Grass. And Weeks Dye Works Pelican Gray. Pelican Gray? Yeah, Pelican Gray. One of my son's favorite birds, my older one's favorite birds is pelican. Weeks Dye Works Sand. And Classic Colorworks Dublin Bay. So I cannot wait to get my needle into this and get this started. So I just have to figure out in my planner, in my plans, how am I going to divide up my seat time. This one, I could probably work on this one at my mother's house when I go stay with her. The lighting is pretty good at her house, and I'll just put that aside for now. The lighting is pretty good there, and that would be something that I could do in a comfortable chair. It's big enough, I don't think I'll need my magnifier for that. The last thing that I'll share with you, it's not a floss, it's not a cross stitch piece, but this is one of my goals for this year, is to get this piece framed. Like I said, I like to go see elephant seals. They're up by San Simeon, which is just slightly beyond the town of Cambria on the Central California coast. And that Cambria, Morro Bay is actually where heaven starts for me. Morro Bay, Cayucos, Cambria, San Simeon, and then all the way up into Big Sur, Carmel, Monterey. I would drive that back and forth every day for the rest of my life, if I could. My husband introduced me to that area. I had never been there before. It was immediate love at first sight. I felt this is where my soul needs to be. And one of the places that we checked out while we were in Carmel was an incredible shopping area called the Barnyard. And it's buildings that look like barns around an incredible, gorgeous garden with brick sidewalks. And at that time, this was when my son was about 6 weeks old, there was a needlepoint shop called, I think it was actually called Les Nouvelles. I think that's how you pronounce that. My battery's dying. So yeah, my battery died. Any rate, the Barnyard, Carmel. Feel free to correct me on my pronunciation. I don't speak French. I think it's Les Nouvelles, but I don't know. And I would like to learn what it really is. At any rate, there I was in my happy place with my brand new son and found this petty point piece of otters. And the otters hang out up there. We had not seen one that day, I don't think, but that trip. But I still fell in love with this and managed to get it done. By golly, I am shocked when I look back on it. And it's been, that son who was 6 weeks old is now 41. That's how long this has been tucked away. I found a framer who said he thinks he can frame it without me having to block it. But one way or another, this is another thing on my list for 2020 is to finally get this framed. It will go perfectly in my new, I've been redecorating my family room for quite a while. So it'll either go perfectly in there or in my new, the guest room that I'm going to get started on. Excuse me. In addition to the, what color is spring quilt? Now I'm going to have hiccups. That I'm committed to finishing this year. I have a couple of other quilts I would really like to be working on. And one of them, I have bought fabric probably 3 times to make a new quilt for my bedroom. And I could never get started on it, never get started on it, never get started on it. And then like 2 years ago, I think, what is this? This is Wilmington. Wilmington Prints came out with this print called Rainbow Seeds. And it was designed by Lisa Audit. And oh my gosh, I have never fallen so quickly and so thoroughly for a piece of fabric as I did for this entire line called Rainbow Seeds. And I said, that's it. That's what I want in that bedroom. And I realized, and I bought a bunch of it. This is the basis for what I'm going to do. This is the pink hydrangea. I bought a lot of it in pink and a lot of it in blue. Okay. And then had this big debate, which one was I going to make the dominant color? And I was sitting in my room thinking about this, in my bedroom, thinking about what color, and happened to look out. One of the reasons I love my bedroom, it's a tiny little room, it's 10 by 10, and my bed is a twin bed. But the reason I stay in there is that I have a really pretty garden that I put right outside that window. And right under the window are hydrangeas growing. And most of them, I have 2 of them that I will occasionally try to blue up, but for the most part, I'm fine with the pink. And so most of them under that window are pink. And I thought that would be so amazing to have this quilt with this be the dominant color and then have the hydrangeas blooming outside in the summertime. So I'm going to go with this pink, and then I'll do shams, and the quilt, I just want to duplicate the quilt that's on it, and the part that hangs down kind of goes like this, and there are 3 different strips in there and piping and the whole thing, and I want to duplicate that. So that's where I'll use these kinds of things. But there are companion prints, all kinds of companion prints for this line for Rainbow Seeds. And they're all wonderful. Butterflies, and anyway, I'm super excited. I want to finalize the plan on this quilt and get it to where I'm at least doing 1 block a week, or even 2 blocks a month would get me a good distance in 2020 toward actually getting this on my bed. So that is in the works for 2020. And then that brings me back to my scatter kisses. Scatter hugs and kisses it is. Because I kept this years and years and years and years, and now, guess what? It goes with this. So now I'm excited to get this pillow made, and I'm thinking I may even work this fabric into the pillow. I can use this one. They go together great, but it would be fun to have maybe 1 pieced band or something out of this to make it really go with that bed set. So that's in the works. And then, so that's the fiber. I call it my fabric and fiber part of the channel, or that's what I'm going to call it, Grandma's World Fabric and Fiber. And my projects that I want to do that let me use part of what I call a museum. I buy stuff all the time, and I love it, and I love to visit it. It brings me joy, Marie. And I'm going to be purging a lot of it. Like I said, it would take me 130 years to make all the major projects, and so some of the minor ones also need to be in that list, and I'm going to have to decide what's going to have to go. Opening an Etsy shop, I think I did it. I'm not sure, because I haven't done anything with it, but I think I signed up for it. It would be called Grandma Diz Deb. And I certainly will let you know if that ever really gets going, but that's where a lot of this, I already have a huge box of vintage cross-stitch books to go, because who wants to do that old stuff when you have this new stuff? But there may be people who are beginners that those would be really appropriate for. So I'm going to close this segment down, and thank you if you lasted this long. You're wonderful. And of course, the way things are working right now with YouTube, I've never really asked people to subscribe to my channel or even encouraged them to. I figured they would if they wanted to. But if you know, yeah, go ahead and click the button if you are so inclined, because like I said, I want to be accountable, and it would help me be accountable if there were people actually watching me be accountable out there. So thank you. And again, Flosstube, you're awesome. And I am going to be really happy checking in with you from time to time, keeping me on target. Have a great day, everybody.